Hey guys, it's Morgan coming back to you with another weekly Shlog. I sure hope you enjoyed last week's. If you're new here and you have not yet subscribed, do yourself a favor. We have a ton of fun here on this channel. We do things like the Shlog, we do ride videos, test videos, review videos. We make fun of people in videos. It's a good time. We got Richie over there rocking and rolling on some suspension. We got Leandra up front yelling at people on the phone. It is going to be a good week. I think you want to be here. Let's go. All right, guys, so first on the lift, as promised, was this 350 EXCF. I already took the seat and tank off. Sorry, I didn't bring it along. I didn't really find anything that might be blowing a fuse. If you guys don't remember from last week, go back, watch last week's Shlog, but the update is this has blown 2 fuses total in its life, and it's an older bike, so I don't feel like that's that bad, but it's nice to know why. I couldn't find anything underneath the seat except that maybe the positive cable was a little loose. I don't know, loose enough that I could grab it, and it kind of broke loose as I pushed on it. So it's not super loose, but also not super tight. So that can cause a blown fuse. If it skips and arcs, it can pop a fuse. So I got that sorted out, cleaned up. Now we're looking up in the headlight area, make sure there's nothing crazy going on here. I don't see anything. Oh, actually, yes, I do. Boom. I was lying. I do see something right there. I don't know if you guys can see that. There you go. So that green, and there's actually some up here too. There's some bare wire right there. So that'll do it. Doesn't take much. It's obviously not frequent, but that is for sure touching something. So could be that it was touching the frame. You can see it's worn through the sticker here. Like on my 300XC, when I installed the True North wiring harness and I didn't plug the 2 ends together when I didn't have the headlight on, and it finally rubbed through the paint on the frame, shorted, blew the fuse. So I bet you anything that is it, because those are wires coming off of the ignition. So I'm sure that if they arc to ground, they'll cause a fuse to blow. So that's awesome. I'm glad I found that. You guys were here for it. I didn't know that was there. So yeah, we'll get that cleaned up really good and insulate those better and tie them out of the way so it works good. So yeah, I'll get that done. I'll show you what we do. All right, guys, I forgot to film what I was doing to that 350. All I did was clean those wires really good and then individually wrap them, and then wrap a whole bunch of electrical tape around the whole loom, insulating that, and then I zip tied it up out of the way. I figure you guys can figure that out. But now, same customer, we've got a TTR 225, which I'm just noticing has I don't know what this is for, but that's there. So anyway, that's not a float bowl gasket, but we're cleaning the carburetor because it is dirty and it's got old gas in it. So we're gonna blow through all these jets, make sure the needle and seat are sealing. Then we'll take it for a test ride, and then we have one more bike from these guys too. And we'll check, when I'm doing carburetor work, guys, I always check the air filter because, well, you guys know how I feel about air filters and how I find a lot of them are just horrible. So let's blow through these things real fast, see if it starts up, and then we'll move on. All right, guys, so we're cleaning this carburetor. Well, we're not cleaning. We don't need 2 people to clean the carburetor. Richie's doing suspension. But I was cleaning the carburetor, and I pulled it out, and I cleaned the float bowl, and I was like, it's not quite running that good. So I took it in here, and you can see, so here, blow it right there, up here. So if you look, that's in the wrong spot. So the needle, I can't wait to take the top of the carburetor off because I don't even know how that happens. If someone could explain how that could happen without someone doing it, I would love to know. I feel like that had to have been done by another human because I don't know how you ever. Anyway, it's awesome. Richie is new to working in an actual shop. Like, he's worked on lots and lots of motorcycles, but he hasn't worked in like just a general shop where the craziest crap happens. So he's learning, and you can see a smile on his face. He's happy. It's good stuff. So we'll get this run. It's going to run really good when I'm done with it here. So, yeah, that's special. All right, guys. So figured it out. Someone did work on this, and this is the keeper that goes on top of the needle that the spring then goes onto that holds the whole thing down. This was actually underneath it, and so it was able to come up and get cocked. So pretty simple fix. Just kind of crazy that happened, but now we should be good. Put our spring back on there, make sure. All right, now we're going to reinstall it, and this bike is going to run way better. Guys, one more thing I just found is that there's supposed to be an O-ring that sits right there. That is not there. It's not stuck to there, so it means it got left out also. So we're going to get another one of those, which I should have. Then we'll put it all back together and check in and see how it runs. All right, guys, we got that all sorted out. Let's see what we get. That's better. And then, just like that, it runs great. So now I'm going to just the fuel screw and the idle a little bit, get it all dialed in, take her for a spin. I think she'll be ready to rock and roll, then we'll get on to the next job. All right, guys, all of you Sherco people that were freaking out when I made a little video about how dumb Sherco was for putting that bolt behind the frame. First of all, calm down. Anyway, so more importantly, I make fun of everything that has dumb setups. So we're putting a recluse in this 701. Arguably, I don't love that, but you can see there is a bolt right, yeah, right where Richard's tool is, and it won't come out without taking this whole foot peg mount off. And in their infinite wisdom, Husqvarna, KTM, whatever you want to call it, the Austrians, they didn't make this a separate piece, so you got to take the whole inner clutch cover off to get it, and that bolt is right not where you want it. So they all do it, guys, so calm down. We're going to have to take that foot peg mount off, all that good stuff. So is it impossible? No. Are we going to get paid for it? Yes. Is it still stupid? 100%. All right, guys, so we're working on valving some 6500 kits real fast. I got to get back to that, but I want to show you something. All you Sherco lovers, got another one. We got a very clean, very nice 22 Sherco. It's got a smart carb on it. The gentleman had it here for, I tuned the carburetor and I did something else, like simple, and it ran great. Ran great for like 4 rides. So he was super stoked, and then all of a sudden it started not running great. And he fiddled with the smart carburetor and got it all out of whack. So we went back through, set that up. We got a hold of smart carb. They were super helpful, honestly. Got set good, and it still didn't run right. It was real lean, like super lean. And the gentleman that owns this doesn't really know the difference between rich and lean. He's new to dirt biking, so he couldn't explain that. So I was like, yeah, super lean. All right, well, we turned the clickers on it, got it running okay, but took the plug out, it was still lean. It's like, what the heck's going on? And we pulled the cover off, and gas came out. There was liquid in here, and we're pretty sure the crank seal's leaking. The bummer is that this thread is different than every other crank puller we own. So we're gonna have to get a new crank puller for that, which is okay. It means we'll have all the tooling to work on Shercos, which is good. Yeah, it's a bummer, guys. That sucks. Having a relatively new bike leak, have the crank seal leak, but it's definitely leaking, causing it to be lean. So if you got a bike that all of a sudden changes and you didn't touch anything, probably ought to stop, dig in and figure out what it is so you don't burn something up. Because if you rode this thing like this, it would definitely blow that crankshaft up. It would lock up that big end bearing and get hot and seize it. So yeah, now we got to find a crank puller. All right, guys, like I said, we're valving a set of 6500s. I'm also installing the clickers right from the get-go. You can kind of see, I don't know, maybe. Anyway, I'm installing the hand clickers right from the get-go. So if you guys are going to do 6500 kits and have your tuner, whether it be us or someone else, I highly recommend just getting those clickers. Solid Performance has the kit. It's $25 extra, but you get to, you know, with your hands, you can click the compressions. It makes so much sense. Yeah, we're doing that, but let me show you what Richard just found on this DR. This is awesome stuff. So it's in here for a full service. I don't know if it runs, but let me show you something. I'm guessing maybe it doesn't. That was just like that. So what do you think, Richard? So yeah, if this thing runs, this is officially the toughest motorcycle ever built. But I don't even know. We'll check in with this one and let you guys know how this turns out. But that's no good. I'm guessing that motor's probably junk. Got to get these forks and stuff done. This guy's coming back here soon. All right, guys, getting ready to finish up this fork. I just want to plug my little fork protector tool again because they're super cool. We sold a whole bunch of them. Thank you guys. If you bought them, comment below and tell me if they've been helping you, if you like them, if there's anything I should change about them. But let me just show you why I built them and what I think is cool. So we got our fork. So we got our fork. We're gonna have to flip this over and push down on it hard to get the spring to compress, to get the end out to put the bolt on. So what we do, we don't have to take our clicker off. We take our tool, put it over like that. You can see that clicker rides just below it. We flip the whole thing upside down. Now we can push, and on these 6500s you got to really push down a lot because the nut that holds this, the lock nut, way down in there. There we go. Now that whole thing's protected. We can push like crazy on it. Nothing's going to happen to it. Put that on there. Again, we got to push again. Hold her out. And pick this up. Everything is super protected and fine. It's got these holes in it so that the oil drains out through it and doesn't build up in there. Pretty sweet. Go to our website. There'll be a link in the description. You can buy them. They're 10 bucks. A little bit of freight because we got to handle them and ship them and all that stuff. But I think it's $13 total. And yeah, they're flexible a little bit, so they're not going to get brittle and break. I really like those a lot. So anyway, I'm going to finish these things up. All right, guys, next on the lift is this KX85, which if you have a KX100 is identical, except for the bore of the cylinder. Otherwise, it's the same as far as how it all works. So pay attention if you want to learn something if you got a KX100. I've had a lot of questions about KX100s. So customer brought it in. They bought this recently from a local guy used and rode it. The kid who's riding it is brand new to two-strokes. And the dad also doesn't spend a lot of time on two-strokes, and so the kid, I believe, was riding around in one gear and not shifting nearly enough. The dad wasn't 100% sure, but he's like, yeah, it could have definitely happened because it died, and then it wouldn't restart. I think the crank or the kicker didn't want to kick for a little bit, but then he brought it in, he kicked it over, and it made some noises. So let's see what we find here. We got everything off, head off. Let's take a look. We can see if we can see anything. So piston looks good. That's good. Ooh, you hear that? I can hear it. So let's get this thing off. This is kind of a pain in the butt, honestly. The power valve setup on these is kind of annoying because it's this like rubber grommet and then it goes through. But I think should slide off. Here we go. All right, guys, first inspection on the cylinder actually looks pretty good, so that's good. Definitely worn out, like you can see. Let me get my flashlight. So if you look at that, there's 0 crosshatch left. It's not worn through the Nickel, which is good, but it's definitely just tired. There might be some scratches right. Yep, there's some scratches right there. Let's see if you guys can. There we go. I can feel those with my fingernails, so that's not good. Now let's check this crank because that's what's got me worried. Oh yeah, I can see already. That is no bueno. So that is a Hot Rods crank, which generally I've actually had really good luck with. But they're definitely not the quality of an OEM crank. And honestly, these little bikes seem to need better parts than the big bikes. And I think it's just because they turn way more RPM. They get hotter. There's less coolant, less cooling, because they only have one radiator on these things, the 85s and 100s. So, yeah, that's unfortunate for sure. So we're going to have to give this guy a call, and we'll get a, we'll get a whole bottom end kit, actually probably a wrench rabbit kit. So we'll go with another hot rods most likely. I'll talk to him, see what he wants to do. I don't think he's going to want to pony up for an OEM KX, but I've actually had, like I said, pretty good luck. My guess is this had a ton of hours on it and it just failed. So that happens. It's the way it goes. It's a bummer, but we'll rebuild it and it'll be brand new. So make sure you guys subscribe, stay tuned, all that. We'll be rebuilding this thing on the line. So button this up, give this guy a call, we'll get on the next job. All right, guys, so I'm showing Rich how to do a TSP head and tune. Oh, he knows how to do it, but we're doing it. I'm showing him what's going on here. He's also going to put a Tusk fan on this. This is a 24 300XC. And as he took it apart and took this tank off, I looked down here, and sure enough, look at that. KYMCO. The XCs, guys, are coming with cheap freaking cylinders. And that is interesting because I remember people saying that the new bikes were coming without the casting marks. And you can see no casting marks for the TPI stuff. But I also remember seeing another 24, I believe. Actually, Zach, so this is a 24XC. There's Jay. What up, Jay? There's my fly guy. Fly guy. I got to talk to him, but I got to show you something. So that's 24XC. Here's 24XCW. It has the casting stuff on the cylinder. It looks like they're probably switching back and forth on the assembly line. Some of them are getting good cylinders, some are getting bad cylinders. We're going to take that cylinder head off. We'll take a look in there and see if we can find anything weird going on. Hopefully not. Hopefully it's still just as good and all that. But that's interesting. So if you guys have a 24 KTM TBI, comment below. I don't like seeing that because you pay 12 grand for these things. You should get a good, all the premium parts. So anyway, I'm going to go talk to my fly guy. Hey guys, that's the end of the week, the end of the Shlog. Sorry, this is a little bit shorter one. We had to get ready to go racing. We are racing over in, it's in between Norwood and Dolores this weekend with Weeby Racing. Super excited about that. It's going to be a brand new venue. Really, really, really excited about that. So look for that video coming out here very soon. Also, I have to mention again, please consider using our Rocky Mountain ATV MC link in the description below. You can also bookmark highland-cycles.com. And when you go to that page, the very first thing you see will be a picture of the shop with a Rocky Mountain logo. Just click that picture and it'll go to our page and give us credit for the purchases you make. It really does make a huge difference. They are the biggest sponsor of the channel right now. They have been incredibly good to me. I know they are good to you guys when you order stuff. They're good to me when I order stuff. They're just amazing. So thank you very much to them, and thank you guys for using it. I know a bunch of you have, and I really appreciate it. Yeah, that's gonna be the end of it. I love you guys. I hope you guys get out and spread the gospel of two wheels, and I desperately hope that what we're doing here is inspiring you guys to work on, but more importantly, get out and ride your dirt bikes!